I had so many good reads in November. Hey besties, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be rounding up my November reads and my December hopefuls. I have a little bit of a different setup because this chair in my living room is normally where we have our tree now, so had to switch things up a little bit. So you'll be seeing this setup until we take our tree down. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stick around for more book content. In November, I read 10 books, and it was a little bit of a weird month just because there was like a lot of busy times. So there was like 1 week where I hardly read at all. Like I read every day, but just not a whole lot throughout the week. So I still read 10 books, which is fantastic. I'm so happy about that, especially because so many of these books were incredible. So I'm not too upset. It was like a weird week because I was wanting to read more. I just didn't have the time. You know how it is? So for books that I don't have a physical copy of, I did read No Place Like Home. This is one of the books in like the Home for the Holidays series for like the Amazon reads, something like that. This was like, I don't know, an hour and a half long on an audiobook. I read it like in 30 minutes and it was pretty good. Nothing like incredible, but I mean, it was a nice, fun read. I read an arc for It's Not Her. This is Mary Kubica's newest book that's coming out in February of next year, and this was amazing. I loved this book so much. I gave it 5 stars. It was such a fantastic thriller. It was suspenseful the second you start reading that first page, and I ate it up. It was so freaking good. Next, I started the Rose Hill series and read Wild Love. Again, such a fantastic book. 5 stars. I loved this story so much. This was such a good way to start off a new Elsie Silver series, and yeah, I'm so excited to keep going. Next up are 2 more arcs that I read. First is You Watched in Silence. This is like a thriller, sort of horror type of book. I didn't like it, if I'm being honest. I think I gave it 2 stars. I just didn't care for it. And next is Circle, Circle, Dot, Dot. This is the second book in the book The Tomorrows After You, which I read earlier this year and loved it. It's one of my favorite reads from this year, so I was so excited to go back into this world and read the second book, and it was really good. This author is such a good writer. Like, there's something about her stories that just draws you in. While I didn't like this one quite as much as the first one, I did really enjoy it. I gave it 4 stars. Now on to physical books. I read Big Little Spells, continuing in the Witch Lore series. This is book 2, and I didn't like this like at all. I had such a hard time connecting with this book and wanting to pick it up. I don't know what it was. Like, I loved the first book in this series, but for whatever reason, this one just wasn't pulling me, wasn't grabbing my attention. I don't know. I gave it 2 stars, but I honestly, if it wasn't in a series, I would have DNF'd it. But I'm very excited to keep going with the series, so I pushed through. I read Mexican Gothic, a little bit of a leftover from my spooky season reads, and this was so good. I really enjoyed this one. I gave it 4 stars. Next, I read If It Makes You Happy. Oh, I loved this book so much. The fall vibes were absolute perfection. This was a fantastic read, got me in all the fall vibes. It was so amazing. I loved it. I gave this one 5 stars. Next, I read 2 books that have been on my TBR for a very long time. First is The Great Alone, and let me tell you, this one totally lived up to the hype. I loved it so much. The way I just felt so gripped and connected to these characters, 5 stars. And last is Local Woman Missing, another Mary Kubica book, so I had 2 this month, and this was so good. Again, another book that totally lived up to the hype for me. I loved it. Such a great thriller. I could not put it down. So yeah, there were a couple books that I didn't really care for, but honestly, so many of the books I had this month were just blown out of the water with how good they were. It was so good. Now let's go over the books that I'm hoping to read in December. So I have a couple of books that are part of big group buddy reads that I'm doing for different series. So first up is Wild Eyes, and I'm very excited to keep going with this series. Like I said, I loved Wild Love. And then in the Witch Lore series, we have book 3, Truly, Madly, Magically. I have been so looking forward to the characters in this story. They have like an enemies to lovers vibe going, which I love. So I'm really excited to see their story, and I'm hoping that this one hits a lot better than the second one did. Next are Christmas reads. Now, I have a Christmas TBR that is just absolutely insane. There is no way I'm going to read every Christmas book I have on my physical TBR and on my Kindle TBR for that matter. But these 4 books are ones that I am prioritizing over everything else, so there might be the only ones I end up reading. We'll see. First is Skipping Christmas. This is just a short little read, so I'll definitely be able to read it pretty quickly. And this is actually the book that is based on the movie Christmas with the Cranks, which is one of my favorite Christmas movies. So I'm excited to read this and see how different it is from the movie. Next is one that I'm hoping to get started like immediately. Good Spirits. I have been hearing so many good things about this book. I loved B.K. Borison's book, Love Light Farms. It was my favorite Christmas read from last year. So I'm excited to read another Christmas book by her. And I just have heard so many good things, so I'm very excited. Next is The Gingerbread Bakery. I love the Dream Harbor series, and this book follows Annie and Mac, who I have been wanting a book of since book 1 because they have enemies to lovers vibes going, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited for this. And last is The Wedding Witch. This is book 3 in the Graves Glen series, which is The Ex-Hex and The Kiss Curse. I loved both of those books, so I am very excited to read this one. So yeah, I have a pretty good setup for December, and obviously I'll have time for more reads as well, so I'll just be mood reading whatever else I want to pick up. I actually don't have any thrillers in here that I'm planning to read, so I definitely have to, pick randomly, which I love. I love just like not having a book I need to read and just going with my mood and seeing where it takes me. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna need to filter in some thrillers throughout all this romance. In the comments, let me know which book you are most looking forward to reading in December. Thanks for watching, besties. I'll see you next time.